What's up, people? Mike here, and this is Uncharted Lost Legacy, crushing difficulty walkthrough. This is Chapter 6, The Gatekeeper, and probably the toughest part of the entire game, which you might think is kind of funny considering the train section in Chapter 9 is pretty intense, but that's manageable because of, they actually give you checkpoints, unlike this bastard of a section. Basically, when you slide into where the APC is, you don't have a checkpoint until you deal with all the enemies, including the backup truck that shows up. So that's why this video is as long as it is, because I couldn't even cut it down to 2 because I would have been cutting in the middle of dealing with the APC. And it can be very challenging getting through this, but I feel like I managed to work out a pretty good pattern of how I wanted to deal with the section, considering that this entire video is what, like 22, 23 minutes, somewhere in that range. My raw recording of this chapter from beginning to end was 3 hours long, and I'm not bullshitting about that. That was 3 hours long. Mainly because of this section here. There were many failed attempts of enemies spotting me and the APC being like right there and it's just gunning me down. I had 2 failed attempts where I got to the very end of this thing with the backup truck showing up. And both times I choked on my rocket shot and got killed by 2 of them shooting me like right in the head. It was to the point where I actually took like a 15-minute break. Got something to drink, had a quick little snack, came back to it, and basically what you're watching now is that attempt right after I took that break, and I managed to nail it. So what you're seeing here is after about 2.5 hours of constant fails and just trying things. Sorry. So what you want to do is you want to come into where I am now and deal with that guy. And you want to come around here and climb up here and deal with this guy. You want to be aware of where the enemy to my right is, because if you go to grab this guy and he's walking towards you, he will notice and he will see you and alert everyone. But if you can get lucky and pull him down, no one will see you. And then you want to come in here, grab the C4 and grab the silenced pistol. You want to be aware of where the ABC is, because you want to roll back into this tall grass. I ended up getting a little unlucky and this guy saw me, but he didn't alert. And I had to cut down because literally I sat here for like 5 minutes waiting for him to like go back to his route, and he just kept staring at me. So eventually I finally just had to shoot him in the head. it was an unfortunate thing, but it was literally like I sat there for like 5 minutes and he would not like go back to his normal path. So I just had to finally say fuck it and shoot him in the head. I was gonna shoot him in the head anyway. He just like made me do it sooner than I meant to. But if you can get lucky and get back to this tall grass area, you should be able to go back into stealth. If not, behind me is another set of tall grass and like some water. That's usually my fallback point if I really need to like run from enemies. So that guy up there may not always consistently be there. I think 2 previous attempts here he was there, but some of the enemy locations on this run, they may not 100% be consistent for where they are for you. That's the one unfortunate thing of alluring enemies and then going back into stealth, is that some of their routes that they walk tend to get kind of funky. One consistent thing is that where I am now, there's usually gonna be like 2, 3, 4 enemies that just randomly will be walking like in this location. And it's really just a matter of just having time and patience and just really just letting the enemies come to you mostly. And the other thing is that as soon as you get spotted, the route that the ABC drives gets really weird and changed, and it takes some kind of weird location turns, because initially it was just going around this little structure like in front of me, and then it starts taking this really wide path around the location. And the biggest thing you have to be careful of is that where I'm going, the vehicle can randomly like back up like it is now and just back into you and kill you like in the tall grass. I had one attempt where that happened when I was by the tower where the rocket guy is. The vehicle was moving forward and it decided to back up and it just backed into me and killed me instantly. I was pretty pissed about that. But I was working my way around because I wanted to deal with the rocket guy as soon as I could. But then I noticed this guy was walking over here. So my immediate thought is, ooh, he's gonna be coming towards the tall grass. I can get him. And then I noticed this guy was in front of me. What I don't know is that to my left there's another guy who ends up spotting me when I go to deal with this guy eventually. So like I said, the route that the guys take are very weird. Like that yellow figure of one of the guys that Nadine took out, the guy that I didn't realize was also over there was the one that spotted him. So as I go to take out this guy, that other guy is walking pretty much right towards us. So like the alert sound went off and I'm like, oh shit, where the fuck is the guy? And then I realized where he was. So this is the fallback point that I use if I need to get out of sight of the APC so I can go back in the cover. If nothing else, behind me there's a kind of like a hill. You can run back there, and for some reason the APC just can't figure out how to drive up there. It's kind of weird. It's like it's an area where, like, when you come here during chapter 4, you can drive up like that kind of back area behind me. But for some reason with the APC, like, it just can't figure out how to like drive up there. So eventually, like, one of my attempts, I actually ended up having to run all the way back there because the APC was like right on my ass and I needed to get away from it, and it just can't figure out what to do there. So it's kind of weird. But so this guy grabbed this this scoped heavy weapon, the I think it's like the Metler or something like that. I think it's silenced, but I'm not positive. Since I was going to use it to take out the rocket guy, but then I noticed that there was an enemy coming towards me, so I was like, oh well, I might as well deal with him just so I don't have to worry about him like trying to kill me when I deal with the rocket guy. But he's behind the tower now, and I didn't want to go after him because I didn't want to risk the APC being like really close to the tower when I took him out, in case I got alerted by, or in case he got alerted before I could like stealth him. So I didn't want the ABC like being like right on my ass. So I decided to wait for this guy to come back towards like the grass area, but I wanted the APC to be like out of sight because I didn't want to risk it just seeing me while I dealt with it, or dealt with the guy. And I believe at this point I only have the rocket guy left, if I remember right. I kind of ended up getting lucky and I had most of the guys come towards me. I want to say the APC may have backed into an enemy and killed him at some point, because usually the way the APC is that if there's an enemy or one of the enemies in front of it, it will stop and wait for them to move out of the way. But if it's like backing up, it will just back into one of the guys and just kill him like instantly. So I think that might have happened with at least one guy during this part. I'm not 100% positive. But so I went all the way back here. I took out the rocket guy, and then I fell all the way back here just to be safe. But I think I was pretty much in the clear. And now at this point, it's just going around and picking up the C4 and the rockets. There's 2 orange lock boxes that have rockets in them. Apparently, if you open them, die, reload your checkpoint, those stay open. So you're gonna see me go to I believe I go to the one that's to my top left. That one will already be open. I never opened the one I'm going to now. I never end up getting to pick open because I never had an opportunity to. But for some weird reason, these stayed open like between checkpoint restarts, which I don't think it was supposed to. I'm not sure if that's something that maybe they patch out, or if it's just the developers being like, okay, we know this part is kind of tough, so you know what, we'll let these stay opened if you open them already. But right here, I'm just kind of waiting for the APC to kind of be completely opposite my direction, so I don't have to worry about it, you know, rolling up on me as I'm opening this thing up. And then where I am right now is not really, well, actually no, where I was I should have stayed, because I probably would have been in a better position. because as you can see, this APC like rolls like almost right on top of me. It's kind of a nerve-wracking moment because there's a point where he backs up, and the way he backs up is how I died to this thing on one of my attempts. Like, he's supposed to just go forward, but then he just starts backing up, and nearly, just rolls like right up on top of me. So this is what I mean by, the path that this thing takes kind of gets a little funky once you've been spotted by enemies. It has a hard time making the proper turns that it needs to. So there's a lot of just sitting here waiting for this thing to like get on its path that it needs to go. So the other thing to note is that I don't remember the first box where I got the silenced pistol and the C4. I can't 100% say for that one, but the other boxes here that have C4, they respawn. I don't know what the timing is for them, but they do refill. Because the one that I took the C4 out of under where the rocket guy was, I made sure I looked back and there wasn't any C4. So when I do eventually get back over there, there's C4 there again. So I think they made the C4 respawn just in case you fuck up on your rocket throws or your rocket shots. Since with the rocket guy on top of the tower where below where I am, there's only 3 rockets total. So you obviously need to be able to take out this APC somehow. So they just made the C4 like respawn. And apparently you can only put 4 pieces of C4 on this thing, because I have 2 on there. I fuck up the throw on the 3rd one. And then I technically will throw 5, but one of them just kind of like disappears. So apparently, for some weird reason, I'm not sure why, they limited to how many you could throw on the ABC to 4. So you'll see that once what I think is 5 on there, and I detonate and I don't have the truck show up, I have a moment of like, what the hell? Why is it not coming in? And I, see that that the thing is still rolling. So basically what you want to do is you want to get 4 charges on the APC, and then you want to get on top of the tower that I'm at now. You want to, ideally what you should do is wait for the thing to be like below you, and I don't know if shooting the rocket will set off the C4 charges. Otherwise you want to set off the charges and then immediately get a rocket on the APC to blow it up. The reason you want to be on top of the tower is that when that truck with, I think it's 4 or 5 enemies, when it rolls up, if you can get your rocket shot perfect, you can literally get it in the back of the truck and just blow everyone up and you're done. I ended up only getting, I think, like 2 of the guys because I kind of aimed a little higher than I meant to. But this is the moment where I'm like, I'm waiting for them to show up. I'm like, why are they not showing up? And I look behind me and I see the thing still moving. Mostly because when I was recording this, I had my volume kind of low, so I couldn't really hear like a lot of the music cues. But so you see, I kind of shot a little high, and I only ended up taking out like 2 guys, and I ended up fucking up my last rocket. So I need to let Nadine deal with the last guy. since I don't have access to a good weapon from where I am. But once all these guys are dead, I cut it out. But you want to run around here, restock all your C4. You want to have 4. Get a good weapon, get a pistol, whatever happens to be around. And I cut out the whole bit with opening the door and then riding the elephant, just because it's not really necessary to have. But when you come up here, there's a lockbox and an open one. So take the ammo. I ended up taking the Type 95, I think is what it was, mainly because I knew that there was going to be ammo in that box to take, since you want to have a good amount going into the next chapter, since you have a fairly decent firefight to deal with, and having the full amount of C4 and whatever's in here will make it a lot more bearable, since there's a couple heavy dudes and there's like a guy with a China Lake. But the rest of this is just some platforming, so I'm gonna let this play out. And pretty much after the APC, the rest of this game is not really, you know, like a full-on cakewalk, but it's not, you know, the most difficult part is past you. So yeah, we'll be, you know, moving on into the next chapter now.
Hey, up the stairs. I see light through the water.